Good evening. You're listening to the Hour of the Time. I'm William Cooper. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we got our phone problem fixed. It was definitely a phone problem. And whenever that happens and we have the broadcast scheduled for open phones, there really isn't much to do except go off the air. And so you can expect that whenever that kind of thing happens. Tonight, what we're going to do is, well, you'll hear it. Just pay attention. Make sure you've got something to take notes with. You're going to need to take notes. You're going to want to take notes, in fact, because there's a lot of advice that you're going to get during this next hour. That is, well, it's precious. It's valuable. It's something that you don't hear anywhere else. Unless, of course, you're somewhere where you get Dr. Wallach's syndicated radio talk show. So pay very close attention, folks, and make sure that you take copious notes.
Hello, this is Dr. Joel Wallach, your host, a veterinarian and physician, and today we're going to talk about osteoporosis, a disease that everybody knows about but knows little about. And the thing that most people don't know is that there's many early signs, many early manifestations, and many late-stage problems that are associated with osteoporosis. We're going to cover these in detail, and so you're going to get educated on osteoporosis far more than medical doctors know anything about. This is the great disease. It causes more human misery and cost than any other disease in America. Let's start out with some of the early warning symptoms. Eyelid twitches, toe, foot, and leg cramps, back spasms. These are all indicators of low calcium in your blood, low blood calcium. And why would you have low blood calcium? Well, you have a low dietary calcium intake, and your body may have a hard time keeping up with the calcium need. It takes a little while for your parathyroid glands to get the calcium from your bones, and when there's a lag time there, you get eyelid twitches, toe cramps, foot cramps, leg cramps, and back spasms. Eyelid twitches in themselves are kind of interesting. Technically, they're called blepharospasm. That's kind of a sexy name. And the medical approach to blepharospasm is to surgically cut the muscles to the eyelid so it won't close. Also, they can inject botulism poison, the most potent poison on earth, into those eyelid muscles and poison them so they won't function anymore. Really, all you need is some calcium. Then there's hypercalcemia. This is where you have a high blood calcium, and this terrifies physicians normally. They will want to surgically remove your parathyroid glands. Normally, your blood calcium ranges from 8.5 to 10.5 milligrams per cent, and if it gets up to 11, 11.5, to 12, 12.5, doctors believe your parathyroid glands are overactive, and the only thing you can do is surgically remove them. They are becoming overactive, the parathyroid glands, but basically if you take in enough calcium, they'll relax, get quiet, go back to sleep, and your blood calcium will go back down to normal. Certainly, calcium supplementation is preferential to surgical amputations of the parathyroid glands. Then there's bleeding from razor nicks. You guys that have to put toilet paper on your face for an hour or so after you nick yourself, or ladies, you nick your shin shaving, and it just won't stop. Normally, blood clotting mechanism should take place within less than a minute, and it takes calcium, takes a certain amount of calcium in your blood to pull that off. And so one of the earliest symptoms of osteoporosis is a bleeding problem when you nick yourself with a razor. Then there's receding gums, gingivitis, pyorrhea, periodontitis, periodontal disease, loose teeth, bridges and plates. This is the earliest symptom of major osteoporosis, and this can happen in a 12-year-old, 20-year-old, a 30-year-old, a 50-year-old, 75 years old, doesn't matter. When you have any of these dental problems, receding gums, gingivitis, loose teeth, bridges and plates, that means that the bones surrounding the roots of your teeth have melted away. Osteoporosis is already beginning, and you'll see osteoporosis in the facial bones and the jaw bones 20 to 50 years before you can recognize osteoporosis in the larger bones of your arms, your vertebrae, your pelvis, and your large leg bones, your hips and your thigh bones, the femur. And that's because the bones surrounding the roots of your teeth are only a millimeter or so thick. And when your bones get weak in the absence of minerals, they try to, in fact, get stronger by generating connective tissue or scar tissue. This happens to every bone in the body, not at the same rate. Some bones will do this faster than others, and that's highly variable from person to person. And so you get a whole interesting set of symptoms. First of all, let's look at a common malady, tinnitus or ringing in the ears. Most doctors say they don't know what causes that. If it has some dizziness or vertigo with it, it can be called Meniere's disease. If you have real serious vertigo with tinnitus or ringing in the ears, it can be called Wallach's vertigo. It was named after me because I figured out what causes it and how to prevent it and how to reverse it. Again, when this connective tissue is generated in your bones of your skull, as the eighth cranial nerve, which is begun in your brain, goes through a little quarter-inch canal through the skull into the inner ear. Your eighth cranial nerve has two branches, the auditory branch, which deals with hearing, and the vestibular branch, which deals with balance and your positioning on Earth. And if that connective tissue that's generated by your skull, when you have osteoporosis, squeezes the eighth cranial nerve, you can have one or two or a combination of those symptoms appear at the same time. And they may come and go as your calcium intake varies from week to week or day to day or month to month. And when you get the auditory branch of the eighth cranial nerve squeezed by itself, you get tinnitus or ringing in the ears. When you get the vestibular branch of the eighth cranial nerve squeezed, you get vertigo. When you get them both squeezed at the same time, you get Wallach's vertigo, which is the ringing and buzzing, roaring in the ears along with the vertigo. It has nothing to do with seasickness. It's interesting. Doctors try to give people cortisone, prednisone, and the motion sickness patches or pills. Then there's Bell's palsy. That's the seventh cranial nerve, which originates in the brain, goes through the facial nerve, through the facial bones, and comes out and innervates one side of the face. Most people will wake up and see one side of their face drooping, the eyelids, the lip, the nose, the whole cheek, and they'll think, gosh, I've had a stroke. But it's just that connective tissue squeezing the seventh cranial nerve. Then there's trigeminal neuralgia, also known as tic douloureux. The individuals get a severe electrical type pain on the side of their face, their neck, behind their ear, down their neck, and over their shoulder. This is the fifth cranial nerve, or the trigeminal nerve, getting squeezed as it comes out through the skull between the ear and the mastoid bone. And then there's spinal stenosis. The spinal nerves can actually be squeezed as they come out from between the vertebrae, and the spinal cord itself can be squeezed by the connective tissue generated by the vertebrae when you have osteoporosis. All of these, of course, are reversible when you supplement properly. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then we have the well-known, of course, osteoarthritis, degenerative arthritis, ankylosing spondylitis, Dowager's hump. These are nothing more than osteoporosis, and, of course, can be painful, disfiguring, but certainly nothing more than a calcium deficiency. Then there is, of course, loss of height, which goes along with osteoporosis. You see people say, yeah, I used to be 6'8", now I'm only 6'4" because I've lost 4 inches over the years. That, in fact, is because they're losing calcium into their bloodstream to maintain their blood calcium, and they're not taking in enough calcium to maintain their height, so they're just gradually losing bone mass. You can also get compression fractures, where the vertebrae themselves can compress, kind of like stepping on a beer can, when you have enough body weight to compress these low mineral vertebrae. They don't have enough mineral in them anymore. And then there's spontaneous fractures, which can be life-threatening. This is where the hip, the ball and socket joint, or the femur itself fracture, and you fall down after the fracture actually takes place, and you can have the secondary effects or the side effects of this, complications which are known as pneumonia, pulmonary embolism, and stroke. All of these are related to osteoporosis, certainly not all of the features of osteoporosis, but some of the more common ones. And most of you really didn't realize that osteoporosis appeared in this many different ways. Well, one of the things that people do is they supplement with lots of calcium, and they're very frustrated with the results. They rarely get the result they're looking for. That's because 25 to 40% of your bone weight is pure collagen or gelatin. And without supplementing collagen, glucosamine sulfate, and chondroitin sulfate, guess what? You're not going to retain much or any of that calcium that you supplement with. And so we came up with what we call Dr. Wallach's pig arthritis formula. And Dr. Wallach's pig arthritis formula has not only colloidal and chelated and elemental calcium in it, it has the collagen, glucosamine sulfate, chondroitin sulfate, the basic building blocks for your bone itself. It also has all 60 essential minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 essential amino acids, and the 3 essential fatty acids. And we're going to be right back after these messages.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to receive information on Dr. Wallach and his recommendations on how you can improve your health, please call toll-free 1-888-403-2405. Right now, 1-888-403-2405. In the Round Valley of Arizona, it's 3555.
The office is open. Dr. Wallach here. And before we go to our first caller, I want to remind people that 25 to 40% of your bone weight is pure collagen or gelatin. If you ever did that 6th grade biology experiment, we took a chicken drumstick bone, made sure all the meat was off of it, put it into a quart jar of white vinegar, left it in there for 2 weeks, then washed it off, and guess what? You can tie that chicken drumstick bone into a square knot because all the minerals have been taken out of it, but the gelatinous 25 to 40% is still there. And you can supplement with all the calcium you want, but without that collagen, chondroitin sulfate, and glucosamine sulfate, you're not going to retain much of any calcium, and that's a very, very important part of Dr. Wallach's pig arthritis formula. Let's go to our first caller, Helen in Lakeland, Florida. Helen, you're on the air.
Well, hi, Dr. Wallach.
Yes, hello.
Yes, I'm from Lakeland, Florida, and I have a question for you.
Fire away.
Okay. I'm a 56-year-old who has a history of osteoporosis in my family, and I can remember my grandmother being stooped over. My mom is really getting worse every day. Is there anything I can do to keep this from happening to me?
Oh, absolutely, Helen. Osteoporosis and Dowager's hump like your grandmother had, and if your mom has the beginnings of Dowager's hump too, we may be able to help her. And if you supplement with all 90 essential nutrients, you can rebuild cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, and bone regardless of your age. Have you been taking any minerals, calcium?
Well, I take 2 tablets of 600 milligrams per day. Is that enough calcium? Or
do you know what the source of that calcium is?
I do not know the source, but it also has vitamin D with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, it's a very common formulation for calcium tablets where they add a little bit of vitamin D with it. Unfortunately, when you have a calcium tablet, you're looking at almost always a metallic or inorganic form of calcium, which is only about 8 to 12% absorbable to animals and human beings until you get about 40 or 50 years of age. You hit that big 50, and your digestive physiology changes, and normally your ability to absorb this type of inorganic calcium drops to 3 to 5%. And even though you're supplementing, and you might even think you're supplementing with 2,000 milligrams of calcium, but in fact you only may be getting 28 milligrams of calcium a day. And so the type of calcium is important. What kind of work do you do?
Well, I'm a nurse. I'm an RN.
Okay, so you're on your feet a lot.
Right.
And are you a surgical nurse or are you a floor nurse?
Well, I do private duty.
I see. So you see a lot of people at home
right.
With osteoporosis. And you've seen people taking all kinds of calcium supplements, and you will notice that they don't do well. Even if they take Tums or calcium carbonate, calcium lactate, calcium citrate is another one people like to use. And so my suggestion is that you try Dr. Wallach's pig arthritis formula. Not only does it have 3 types of calcium, the colloidal calcium, which is up to 98% available, the chelated calcium, which is 40 to 60% available, and the elemental calcium, which is 10 to 12% available. It also has the collagen, glucosamine sulfate, and the chondroitin sulfate, which will help you retain the calcium you're supplementing with. And so I would suggest the whole pig arthritis formula for twice a day for, say, 60, 90 days to get your calcium back into your bones, and then cut it to once a day for maintenance. That will cut your cost and will also be a lot more convenient for you.
You have given me a whole lot of information. I sure will follow through, and I thank you very much.
Well, you're very welcome, Helen. And, of course, like everybody else, if you do these things, don't fall into despair. You don't need to have a hip replacement surgery. You do not need to live a life of disability. Even if you're 75, 85, 95, or 105, you can rebuild those bones. And so osteoporosis should be a thing of the past. We've eliminated it in animals because you don't have Blue Cross, Blue Shield, major medical hospitalization, Medicare, and Medicaid to pay for nonsensical surgical treatment, medical treatment with drugs, or with mechanical treatments for nothing more than a mineral deficiency disease. Let's go to Ralph in Rancho Margarita, California.
Hi, Doc. Thanks for taking my call.
You're very welcome. What's up?
Well, I'm in my late 40s, and I've noticed that in the mornings I got a terrible time getting out of bed. It's getting to be more of a struggle getting my body up and going. My knees, my back hurt, and really my joints hurt all over. I just feel like I never get loose.
Okay. Have you ever tried any of that old treatment of soaking your hands in hot water for 20 minutes? Does that ever help you?
I've never tried that, but I'll give it a shot.
Okay. Do you do any kind of exercise?
Very little. I bowl a little bit when I can and play a little golf.
All right. Have you ever had a diagnosis of arthritis?
No.
Never been to a doctor for this?
No.
Okay. Basically, the odds are you have the beginnings of osteoarthritis or degenerative arthritis, which is one of the features of osteoporosis. And you should be able to see your results very quickly in taking all 90 essential nutrients, getting the calcium, the magnesium, the boron, strontium, and other trace minerals that are necessary for bone regeneration and bone growth. Make sure you take it in the form of the pig arthritis formula twice a day for 90 days. And I want you to give us a call back in 30 days because you're going to see some quick results. What kind of work do you do, Ralph?
I'm an accountant, so I'm at a desk most of the day and kind of stressful.
And you don't do anything on the weekends? You're not a weekend warrior?
No, not a weekend warrior. I just spend time with the wife, and we do a little traveling.
Okay. How's your wife doing? Does she have any similar symptoms?
Yes.
Okay. The reason why I ask that, Ralph, is because when you have a couple who eats the same, it's not unusual for them to get similar diseases and think, gosh, we're both getting arthritis. Well, that's because you're both eating the same way and perhaps not supplementing properly. Did you ever supplement in your life?
We take some vitamins, vitamin C and so forth, but not too much else.
Okay, I didn't hear any minerals, so that would go along with your history of the beginnings of arthritis. Okay, Ralph, give us a call in a month after you start the pig arthritis formula, and we look forward to hearing from you and your wife.
Well, good. Thank you very much for the information, Doc. We'll sure give it a shot.
Okay. Thank you, Ralph. All right, we've got time here so we can go to another caller. Let's go to Linda in Dallas, Texas. Hello, Linda. You're on the air.
Hi, Dr. Wallach?
Yes, ma'am.
I've just been diagnosed with MS, and I really don't want to spend the rest of my life in a wheelchair. Is there anything I can do?
All right. What symptoms do you have right now?
I don't have any. Yeah.
Okay. Well, how did they know you had MS? I mean, why did you go to the doctor?
Dizziness, stiffness.
Okay. Very good. That's not unusual. Sometimes people get blurry vision. They may slur their speech like they're intoxicated. Sometimes their movement's a little stiff. And they can't find out where their feet are at, this type of thing. Not unusual. The very, very mild, almost imperceptible symptoms of early multiple sclerosis. And did the doctors tell you what part of the brain is injured when you have MS?
No.
They didn't give you any explanation. Well, normally the MS, multiple sclerosis, is caused by a degeneration of the myelin, the insulating material in the brain. And this is almost 100% cholesterol. 75% of your brain weight is pure cholesterol. It's called myelin. It's this fatty stuff that insulates each nerve fiber of the brain and spinal cord. And when this becomes degenerated and replaced with scar tissue, Linda, this is when you get MS. And the symptoms will depend and vary from person to person and vary in severity based on the location of these injuries to the brain. It's very, very spontaneous. It's a throw of the dice. It's a crapshoot, if you will, what part of the brain is affected. So one person's early stages of MS can be quite a bit different from another person's. But what you want to do is stop the continuing injury, and you want to, in fact, rebuild the damaged myelin. And so what I like to do is give the brain the raw materials to rebuild the myelin, which includes, of course, the cholesterol. So you want to eat 2 eggs every morning for breakfast, soft scrambled or maybe poached or soft boiled, not fried. You want to eat 72 ounces of red meat every month, and I know that sounds like a lot, but it's just a quarter pounder a day. And the purpose of this meat and eggs is to take in the cholesterol. You can only make 10% of your daily need. The other 90% must come from your diet. And if you don't bring in this raw material, you'll never be able to rebuild that myelin. Now, in addition to the eggs and the meat, you want to take in all 90 essential nutrients. And a good way to do that, 87 of the 90 essential nutrients you can get as the pig arthritis formula. The other 3, the essential fatty acids, the omega-3s, I like to use the flaxseed oil capsules or salmon oil capsules or the evening primrose oil. The flaxseed oil is a little bit more economical, and the salmon oil capsules sometimes give people belches, burps, and bloats, and so you can kind of choose which one you want. And then the continuing injury is kind of interesting to me. One of the things that was on 60 Minutes about 8 years ago, there was a group of people who had MS, and a fellow by the name of Hal Huggins in Colorado Springs, Colorado, dentist, took out their mercury amalgam fillings. Within 12 weeks, they were all giving up their walkers and their wheelchairs and were essentially symptom-free because he felt that the damage to the myelin in the brain for MS was due to mercury that was off-gassing out of the mercury amalgam fillings. So you want to have those replaced with a composite or a fiberglass and stop that continuous leaching if you have any of those mercury amalgam fillings in. Do you have any of those?
Oh, yeah, and I will definitely get it taken care of. I don't want to be crippled the rest of my life.
Yeah, and of course, do the dietary changes. Avoid all fried foods, margarines. Margarines are the worst type of fat for your body, especially when you have any type of brain damage like you do with MS. You want to be able to give up that margarines, the salad dressings, anything with oils in them, fried foods, tempura, stir fry. And you want to be sure to take that essential fatty acid. You want to take 3 of those with each meal, and 3 1-gram or 1,000 milligram capsules of the flaxseed oil or salmon oil or evening primrose oil. That'll give you about 3% of the average daily intake of essential fatty acids of your calories, and that's the way it's supposed to be. And give us a call back in a couple of months. This will take a couple of months to see some benefit if this is going to work for you, Linda. And don't forget, if you have a problem, if you have a health challenge, or if you want to talk about a health challenge of any loved one, you can give us a call, too, and we will do everything we can to give you the information we know. If we don't know it, we'll look it up, and then we'll let you know it.
For more information on Dr. Wallach and his advice on how you can improve your health, call 1-888-403-2405. That's 1-888-403-2405. One more time, call toll-free, 1-888-403-2405. In the Round Valley of Arizona, it's 3555. That's 3555.
The average doctor has a malignant dumb belief that you can get everything you need from your 4 food groups. Of course, we know that's impossible. You can't get everything you need from your 4 food groups. Plants, grains, vegetables, fruits, and nuts can make and do make vitamins, vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin D, vitamin K, but plants cannot make minerals, and so it's worse than a crapshoot. If you think you can get everything you need from your 4 food groups, you're throwing away 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 years of your life unnecessarily. That's why doctors live to be 58 to 62 on the average, depending on whose research you look at. And so just simply by supplementing with all 90 essential nutrients, making sure you take in those 60 essential minerals, you will guarantee an extra 20, 30, 40 years to your life. Let's go back to the callers here. Let's go to Randy in Normal, Illinois. Hello, Randy. You're on the air.
Hello, Doc. I just wanted to say I appreciate your radio program and all that you're doing.
Thank you.
It's really helped us.
What's up with Randy?
Okay, my family has a history of heart disease.
Okay.
Do you really think it does any good taking aspirin every day?
Okay, that's a great question, Randy, because people ask me that all the time, and doctors tell people to take aspirin all the time to prevent blood clots. You have to appreciate that cardiovascular disease is not a single disease. It's actually a complex of many different diseases. For instance, varicose veins, spider veins, and aneurysms are related. They're actually due to a breakdown of the elastic fibers in veins and arteries as a result of a copper deficiency. When you get arteriosclerosis, you get hardening of the arteries. It's actually due to a magnesium deficiency. You get what's called malignant calcification. You get calcification of the small and medium-sized arteries, such as the coronary artery, the middle cerebral artery, and the basal artery of the brain. The renal artery is another one that's about the same size. Also, the carotid arteries of the head. And this is due to a magnesium deficiency. And when you have blood clots, this can be due to a deficiency of the essential fatty acids, the omega-3s, and the aspirin is actually supposed to take the place of the omega-3s in preventing this blood clotting. And so my way of looking at it is, Randy, to take all 90 essential nutrients. I keep harping on that. It's so important to maintain and repair our bodies. Taking all 90 essential nutrients, which would include the essential fatty acids, the omega-3s, and that will prevent the stickiness of your platelets and prevent the blood clots that your doctor may have suggested taking the aspirin for. Remember, taking the aspirin is not going to prevent arteriosclerosis, is not going to prevent aneurysms, and it certainly won't prevent what's called cardiomyopathy heart disease, which is really the only true disease of the heart and muscle, and that is caused by a deficiency of the trace mineral selenium. So I would say that vitamins and minerals and essential fatty acids are even much more important than aspirin.
Okay. All right, well, great.
Okay, what kind of work do you do, Randy?
Well, I work in a steel factory.
Mm-hmm.
And,
so you get plenty of exercise.
Yes.
Okay, you don't have to worry about that part. Do you take any kind of fluid? I mean, you must sweat when you work in a steel factory.
I drink a lot of water.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I really recommend you try taking one of these mineral and electrolyte supplements and drinking that instead of water, because when you sweat, you're sweating out the selenium, the magnesium, and the copper that you really need to prevent heart and vascular disease. And so you do want to replace it when you have a job where you sweat a lot. That's really important.
Okay.
Okay?
And what is there any particular product?
Well, yeah, just generally, I keep going back to that pig arthritis formula because it's convenient and it's economical. It gives you 87 of the 90 essential nutrients. You add to it the flaxseed oil capsules, 3 of those with each meal. That's going to give you the essential fatty acids, and you can give up taking the aspirin.
Okay, so I can water that down and just drink that through the day.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, great.
Have a great one, and then keep in touch, Randy. Give us a call every once in a while. Let us know how you're doing.
All right, I will. Thank you very much.
You bet. Bye-bye, Randy. Okay, let's come back with Bob. Bob from Flint, Michigan. Hello.
Hi, Doctor. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet. What's up?
I have a similar problem to the last caller. My cholesterol is high. It's been high for several years. I'm 54 years old, and I don't feel bad, but the doctor this year in the last physical has put me on medication, and I'd like to do it naturally if I could.
Sure. Well, do you know how high your cholesterol was?
It's been for 10 years, probably 270, 280.
Okay, well, that's not too scary to me. The normal range for human beings is 220 to 270, and you're right at the upper end of normal. And that's about where Eskimos range. They range from about 250 to 300, and they're legendary for not getting cardiovascular disease. And above the Arctic Circle, 98% of the Eskimo diet is red meat and blubber. Whale meat, whale blubber, walrus meat, walrus blubber, seal meat, seal blubber, bear meat, bear fat. And they don't have to worry about their cholesterol. What gives? Well, that's because they eat the stomach contents of the animals they kill, and they get their chromium and vanadium, and they get their copper and their magnesium and their selenium from the stomach contents, the krill and the algae that these animals eat. And they also eat salmon every day, either fresh or dried or smoked or salted. And this gives them the omega-3s, all of which keep their blood cholesterols down below 300 and prevents all this cardiovascular disease. And so my personal credo is a day without a hamburger is like a day without sunshine. Don't be scared about eating a quarter pounder a day or 2 eggs for breakfast every day. Salt your food to taste. enjoy yourself like a real American should, and don't worry about your cholesterol. It's at the high end of normal. Just means you're sexier. It kind of leaves you speechless, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, they've got me on, am I allowed to say the medication?
Oh, sure. What do you got you?
Lipitor, and I've only taken a half of a tablet because one of them really kind of zonked me out. And then I have to have the liver checked pretty regularly, too, to make sure I don't have damage there.
Yeah, well, that's one of the bad things about most of these cholesterol-reducing drugs is they cause either liver damage or blindness or both. And that's why they had to come in for a blood enzyme check and want to look in your eyes. And so any kind of time a drug is going to cause some life-threatening problem or have you lose any feature like hearing or vision, you want to get off of it as quickly as possible. And certainly your blood cholesterol at 270 to 280 is not at a life-threatening level. If it was 1,200, I'd be a little more concerned. But again, the pig arthritis formula, twice a day for 90 days, cut it back to once a day for maintenance, and then enjoy life. Don't worry about it. There's never been a single study which shows that restricting salt prevents pressure. There's never been a single study which shows that eating eggs or cholesterol causes plugged arteries. It's just not so. And so relax, enjoy yourself, and don't be paranoid about your blood cholesterol.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Hey, you bet, Bob.
Appreciate your time.
You bet. All right. Yes. Doctors, I have to tell you, doctors actually earned $117 billion just from cholesterol testing alone, and it didn't add 10 seconds to longevity. We're getting some faxes here. People want to know what that pig arthritis formula is. So let me just quickly tell you what the pig arthritis formula is. It goes like this. It's one of my legendary formulas. Veterinary formulas are designed to prevent and cure diseases in animals without drugs. And it goes like this. 5 ounces of calcium-enriched Minute Maid orange juice. Calcium's free. Minute Maid doesn't charge you for it. A half ounce of the bulk powder or 6 to 12 capsules of the ultimate glucogel. That's for the chondroitin sulfate, collagen, and glucosamine sulfate, which are the basic building blocks for the bone matrix, the cartilage, the ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, and bone. 1 ounce of the colloidal minerals, which is plant-derived colloidal minerals, 98% available and contains all 60 essential minerals. And then lastly and fourthly, 1 ounce of a liquid multiple containing 112 nutrients. You mix these 4 basic ingredients together, you get 7.5 ounces of mix, known as Dr. Wallach's pig arthritis formula. We're going to take it faithfully twice a day for 90 days, and then you can cut it to once a day for maintenance. I do get a lot of people say, well, Doc, how do I know I'm absorbing it? Well, normal human urine is clear or barely an amber color. If you're absorbing the pig arthritis formula, within 2 hours or 3 hours of consuming a dose of the pig arthritis formula, your urine is going to turn a fluorescent yellow. You know that you're absorbing it. So open your eyes and look before you flush the toilet. You'll know that it's working for you. How do you know that it is working for you? Well, make a list of all your health challenges. A neck that sounds like a bag full of gravel, loose teeth, receding gums, white, gray, or silver hair, liver spots, low back problems, high blood pressure, low blood sugar, diabetes. And then every 2 weeks go through this list and see if any of them are getting better. And it's not unusual in 60 to 90 days to begin to see a trend. You'll actually see many of these getting better. You can recognize it. And when they're getting better, you know that it's working for you. And don't forget that you heard it right here with Dr. Joel Wallach. And we're going to be back with some more callers after these messages.
For more information on Dr. Wallach and his recommendations on how you can improve your own personal health, call toll-free right now, 1-888-403-2405. That's 1-888-403-2405. And if you live in the Round Valley of Arizona, the number is 3555. That's 3555. And now back to Dr. Wallach.
This is Dr. Joel Wallach, your host, a veterinarian and physician. And, of course, a lot of people say treat them like dogs, but they do seem to get better. And we're going to come back with another caller right away here. Let's go to Nina in Scranton, New Jersey. Nina, hello.
Hi, Dr. Wallach. I'm real glad to have the chance to talk with you.
Well, thank you. How are you doing?
Okay. Other than I have these spots all over my hands and arms and legs, you know, the brownish type ones.
Okay. They're called liver spots or age spots.
Yeah, they just look awful. I tried the creams from over the counter, but they just continue to get darker.
And you continue to get more and more numbers of these things?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me first share with you that this is one of the early warning signs of several more sinister things that could happen to you in the future. So it's good that you're being concerned about these. The technical name for the age spots or liver spots is ceroid, C-E-R-O-I-D, lipofucsin. It's a big mouthful, but I guess in common terms it's called rancid fat. And people who eat margarine, fried foods, and salad dressings with oils in them and do not supplement with enough of a trace mineral called selenium will get these liver spots. When you have 10 of them on the backs of your hands, your face, your arms, you literally have millions of them, Nina, in your brain, your eyes, your thyroid gland, your lungs, your heart, your liver, and your bone marrow, all your other tissues. And they interfere with the biochemistry of every cell, of every tissue, and every organ of your body. Now, the nice thing about this is, if there is a nice thing, if you quit using margarines, salad dressings with oils in them, and fried foods, tempura, stir-fry, and you take in 250 micrograms of selenium every day, which is just 1/4 of 1 milligram, within 3 to 4 to 5 months, those age spots on the backs of your hands, your face, your arms will go away. They'll fade and go away. And they're going away on the outside, Nina. They're going to go away on the inside. And you will literally add 10, 20, 30, 40 years to your life just simply by giving up fried foods, margarine, salad dressings, and supplementing with the 250 micrograms of selenium every day. But I would take care. I wouldn't just use the selenium. Usually something else is going on that says you have more than one deficiency. And I'll ask you that question. Do you have any other symptoms such as white, gray, or silver hair?
I'm getting a few gray hairs.
Getting a few gray hairs, well, that could be a symptom of a copper deficiency. And, of course, we know that copper deficiency can result in gray, white, or silver hair because copper is required as a cofactor to manufacture hair pigment, blonde, red, brown, black hair, doesn't matter. It's also required as a cofactor to manufacture things like the elastic fibers in veins and arteries. So it's very, very important that you pay attention to all these little signs going on, that there's changes happening in your body that you can prevent. And the gray hair will go away and the original hair color will come back if you also supplement with the colloidal and the chelated form of the copper. So you will literally reduce your risk of aneurysms, of cancer, of heart disease by supplementing with all 90 essential nutrients. Make sure that you have 250 micrograms of selenium and at least 2 milligrams of available chelated and colloidal copper.
Okay.
And then do give us a call back in a couple of months, Nina. Give us a call back in a couple of months. Let us know how you're doing. The audience will want to know how those liver spots are going.
Thank you, Doctor.
You're very welcome. And you, too, you should sit down and make a list of all the things that bother you. If you have white, gray, or silver hair, if you have liver spots, if your neck sounds like a bag full of gravel, if you have low blood sugar, if you have cracked cuticles, hangnails, cracks in the side of your fingers, end of your thumbs, these are all warning signs that you can prevent terrible things from happening if you pay attention and do the proper thing. Let's take another caller here. Let's go to Paula in Nashville, Tennessee. Hello, Paula.
Dr. Wallach. Thank you for taking my call.
You're very welcome. I just love that Nashville accent.
Well, thank you. You should come here sometime. It's a great city.
Yeah, I've been there before. I appreciate Printer's Alley. It's a lot of fun.
Bet.
What can we do for you today?
Well, Doctor, my daughter and her husband would like another baby. They got a 7-year-old, but they just don't seem to be able to have another one.
Okay. Has this young lady had miscarriages or just not a pregnancy at all?
No, just no pregnancy. Doesn't seem to have any problems.
All right. And she's cycling normally?
Very regular.
And she's been examined and there's no kinks in the tubing or plumbing anywhere?
Nothing that they can find.
Okay. Well, I can allay your fears here, Paula. I can tell you that I've gotten more women pregnant than any other man in history. And my wife is quick to jump in and say that I do it nutritionally. Almost all, 99.9% of the infertility in the world that has nothing to do with kinks in the tubing or any kind of blockages anywhere, is due to a nutritional deficiency disease. And if this young lady and young man will take all 90 essential nutrients twice a day for 90 days and then cut it back to once a day for a maintenance, and do this for 3 to 6 months prior to going back to work and trying to establish a pregnancy, you will find that they'll be very, very successful. My own daughter, who's now 36 years old, has 2 lovely kids and working on her 3rd one. For 12 years, she and her husband tried to have a pregnancy for 12 years, and it failed. Never even had a pregnancy with any miscarriages, just never a pregnancy at all. She spent $150,000 of her own money, went to experts all over the world. They told her she was hopelessly sterile. We put her on the pig arthritis formula, and in 3 months she had her first pregnancy. And let me tell you, she's got the 2 most beautiful kids, and you can look forward to the same thing to your daughter and son-in-law.
Nothing like those grandbabies.
That's right. And do give us a call back, Paul, and let us know how they do. And if it's a boy, name it after me.
Okay.
Okay,
well, thanks so much, Doctor.
You bet.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And you, too, if you have a health challenge, you want to talk about, give us a call, and we'll be happy to share what we know about it with you. And for those of you that have an early warning symptom of low blood sugar, remember that this is one of the first signs of impending diabetes. If you have low blood sugar, if you have thirst, if you have frequent urination, if you have to wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, if you have to urinate 5 or 6 times after each meal, you're just terribly thirsty like you've been living in a desert during the meal, you want to have a 6-hour blood glucose tolerance test taken. You want to have your blood sugar level taken, and then the 6-hour test. You also want to have a urine test for blood sugar, because the odds are you have either hyperinsulinemia, prediabetes, or diabetes. And so don't worry about it. These things can be fixed. You can actually prevent the need for insulin. If you're in a dangerous situation, you can take the insulin temporarily, and we'll help you get off of it within a few weeks. This is Dr. Joel Wallach, your host, saying stand by. We're going to be right back with some more Truth, Justice, and the American Way.
If you'd like to receive more information on Dr. Wallach and his recommendations on how you can improve your personal health, call toll-free 1-888-403-2405. That's 1-888-403-2405. Do it right now. And if you live in the Round Valley of Arizona, it's 3555. The number is 3555. And now, back to Dr. Wallach.
This is Dr. Joel Wallach, your host, and remember that dead doctors don't lie. It's the only time they won't. And we're going to go back to callers here. Let's go to Mark in Colorado Springs. Hello, Mark.
How you doing, Doc?
Okay, sir. Thank you. What's up?
Well, I've just been informed that my prostate cancer level is beginning to come up. You know, they took that the test. I can't think of the name of the test.
Okay, you're talking about the PSA test?
That's it, the PSA test.
They didn't tell you you had prostate cancer?
No, they just said that the possibility looked good because the level is starting to come up.
I see. Okay. So you got an elevated PSA.
Right.
And how old are you, Mark?
I'm 47 years old.
Okay. Well, the reason I asked that, something like 85% of all American men over the age of 50 have an enlarged prostate. It's benign, non-cancerous, and the PSA will begin to go up when you get an enlarged prostate. This is almost always due to a deficiency of zinc, essential fatty acids, and some of the amino acids. And so certainly you want to begin to supplement with these things, supplement with all 90 essential nutrients, and be sure to give up anything that's going to interfere with the usability of these nutrients. Fried foods, margarines, things like caffeine and sugar will actually interfere with the storage of zinc and other minerals, and so that will be useful. There's also a legendary herb by the name of saw palmetto, which will help reduce the size of the prostate. And you don't happen to know what the levels were, do you?
That was like 5.8.
Okay, well, normal level is below 1.5, and so it's getting up there, but I've seen them as high as 20 with a non-cancerous prostate gland. But what you want to do if you have concern to kind of allay your fears, all you have to do is go in for an ultrasound. They put just a little mineral oil on you, and they use one of these heads, kind of like a bathroom shower head, rubbed over the prostate gland, and they can see if there's any nodules in there. And certainly just having an elevated PSA is not the harbinger of doom. It's certainly not necessary to do a biopsy right away. Just an ultrasound will give you a clue as to anything's going on in there. But you should be well on your way to returning that PSA back down to normal.
Thank you much. I'll definitely get on that.
Okay, and then give us a call back in a couple of weeks. Let us know what the ultrasound showed.
We'll do it.
Okay, thank you, Mark, and we'll talk to you again. I guess we're going to summarize. We've got just a few moments left here, just a few seconds actually. Gray hair, copper deficiency, liver spots, selenium deficiency, cracked cuticles, essential fatty acid deficiencies, cramps and twitches, calcium deficiency, low blood sugars, chromium and vanadium deficiency. Listen up. You're going to find out how to add 10, 20, 30, 40 years to your life. And we'll be back again. Dr. Joel Wallach, your host. God bless each and every one of you, and God bless America.
Well, folks, we're going to open the phones now and take your calls. The number is 520-333-4578. That's 520-333-4578. We found out what the problem was with the phones, and so I don't think you'll have any problems getting through tonight. If you do, well, if you do, then I got to tell you, then we got some real big problems that we got to solve. Because I went to a lot of trouble today to get this with the phone company to make sure that the problem that we were having got solved. The number is 520-333-4578.
Grain tower alone on the sea, you became the light on the dark side of me. Love remained a drug that's high enough to fear, because you know that when it snows, my eyes become alive and the light that you shine can't be seen.
Good evening. You're on the air.
Hi, Bill Cooper. This is Joe in Sun City, California.
Hi, Joe. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Your I don't know what you call it. The signal's not coming in real good.
Well, that's.
I'm just saying that. That's
yeah. Well, we don't need to know that. What can we do for you?
Oh, you don't need to know that. Okay.
No, there's nothing I can do about it. So you're wasting your time and mine by even bringing it up.
All right. Suppose somebody could solve that problem.
Then you need to call the radio station, not me. It's your problem. You're having a problem with reception, not me.
Oh, I understand that.
And maybe the radio station is having problems transmitting, but you're wasting time. What can we do for you on the subject matter of tonight?
Oh, no, forget it. Thank you.
You're welcome. I've said it a million times, folks. Don't give me reception reports. There's nothing I can do about it. There's one or two things you can do. You can either call the radio station and find out maybe what your problem is as far as propagation or transmission or the part of the world that the antenna is covering, or you can get yourself a better radio or better antenna. There is nothing, read my lips, there is nothing, absolutely nothing, there is nothing that I can do about it. And I've said this 500 million times in the past, and I will say it 500 million times in the future. Do not call me to give reception reports. Call me about the subject matter of the broadcast. That's what the broadcast is for. This is not a radio show about radios. Now, when Doyle is on and he's giving you information about radios, he invites your calls about your reception problems, then he can help you, because then that becomes the subject of the broadcast. The number is 520-333-4578. The subject tonight is Dr. Wallach and his recommendations on how you can improve your personal health. And if you haven't called yet, the number is 1-888-403-2405. That's 1-888-403-2405. The number to call in for the broadcast is 520-333-4578. That's 520-333-4578.
Hello, this is Dr. Joel Wallach, your host, a veterinarian and physician. And today we're going to talk about osteoporosis, a disease that everybody knows about but knows little about. And the thing that most people don't know is that there's many early signs, many early manifestations, and many late-stage problems that are associated with osteoporosis. We're going to cover these in detail. And so you're going to get educated on osteoporosis far more than medical doctors know anything about. This is the great disease. It causes more human misery and cost than any other disease in America. Let's start out with some of the early warning symptoms. Eyelid twitches, toe, foot, and leg cramps, back spasms. These are all indicators of low calcium in your blood, low blood calcium. And why would you have low blood calcium? Well, you have a low dietary calcium intake, and your body may have a hard time keeping up with the calcium need. It takes a little while for your parathyroid glands to get the calcium from your bones, and when there's a lag time there, you get eyelid twitches, toe cramps, foot cramps, leg cramps, and back spasms. Eyelid twitches in themselves are kind of interesting. Technically, they're called blepharospasm. That's kind of a sexy name. And the medical approach to blepharospasm is to surgically cut the muscles to the eyelid so it won't close. Also, they can inject botulism poison, the most potent poison on earth, into those eyelid muscles and poison them so they won't function anymore. Really, all you need is some calcium. Then there's hypercalcemia. This is where you have a high blood calcium, and this terrifies physicians normally. They will want to surgically remove your parathyroid glands. Normally, your blood calcium ranges from 8.5 to 10.5 milligrams percent, and if it gets up to 11, 11.5, to 12, 12.5, doctors believe your parathyroid glands are overactive, and the only thing you can do is surgically remove them. They are becoming overactive, the parathyroid glands, but basically if you take in enough calcium, they'll relax, get quiet, go back to sleep, and your blood calcium will go back down to normal. Certainly, calcium supplementation is preferential to surgical amputations of the parathyroid glands. Then there's bleeding from razor nicks. You guys that have to put toilet paper on your face for an hour or so after you nick yourself, or ladies, you nick your shin shaving, and it just won't stop. Normally, blood clotting mechanism should take place within less than a minute, and it takes calcium, takes a certain amount of calcium in your blood to pull that off. And so one of the earliest symptoms of osteoporosis is a bleeding problem when you nick yourself with a razor. Then there's receding gums, gingivitis, pyorrhea, periodontitis, periodontal disease, loose teeth, bridges and plates. This is the earliest symptom of major osteoporosis, and this can happen in a 12-year-old, 20-year-old, a 30-year-old, a 50-year-old, 75 years old, doesn't matter. When you have any of these dental problems, receding gums, gingivitis, loose teeth, bridges and plates, that means that the bones surrounding the roots of your teeth have melted away. Osteoporosis is already beginning, and you'll see osteoporosis in the facial bones and the jaw bones 20 to 50 years before you can recognize osteoporosis in the larger bones of your arms, your vertebrae, your pelvis, and your large leg bones, your hips and your thigh bones, the femur. And that's because the bones surrounding the roots of your teeth are only a millimeter or so thick. And when your bones get weak in the absence of minerals, they try to, in fact, get stronger by generating connective tissue or scar tissue. This happens to every bone in the body. not at the same rate. Some bones will do this faster than other, and that's highly variable from person to person. And so you get a whole interesting set of symptoms. First of all, let's look at a common malady, tinnitus or ringing in the ears. Most doctors say they don't know what causes that. If it has some dizziness or vertigo with it, it can be called Meniere's disease. If you have real serious vertigo with tinnitus or ringing in the ears, it can be called Wallach's vertigo. It was named after me because I figured out.
Well, that's it, folks. We're out of time for tonight. And we'll take phone calls for about 1 or 2 minutes, and then we're going to see you again tomorrow night. Good evening. You're on the air.
Hello, Bill. This is Dennis in North Carolina.
Hello, Dennis.
How are you doing this evening, Bill?
Good. What can I do for you?
Okay. My question is, I understand the Dr. Wallach system pretty good, but as far as like if you get to a certain point, you know you need to exercise. The question is, free weights versus a rubber band type machine to start working out.
Well, you're asking the wrong person. I really don't know what to tell you. I've worked out with weights. I've worked out with the rubber band type exercise things. I've jogged. I've run. Most of my life has been spent in the water, and that's what I think is really the very best exercise for anybody is a lot of swimming in the water. I think that and rowing exercises pretty close to most of the major muscles in the body. Swimming exercises almost every muscle in the body. But you're asking specifically between these two types, and I don't know which one is the best. So I can't answer that question for you.
So basically, the bottom line is get your ass up and start get it moving, right?
Yeah, get it moving. But if you really want my recommendation, I'd say swimming. It's the very best exercise there is for anybody.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your opinion, Bill.
You're welcome.
And good evening.
And thank you for the call. And that is just my opinion, ladies and gentlemen. It's based upon a lifetime of experience, and that's the best that I can give you along those lines. Good night, folks. See you tomorrow, and God bless each and every single one of you.
There's no reason for you to lose your mind, 'cause I've seen something that's gonna change our time. If I could, I'd make you understand. If I could, I'd make you understand. There's no hurry, it's gonna come for sure. 'Cause I know that someday we're gonna end our war. If I could, I'd make you understand. If I could, I'd make you understand. If I
Ladies and gentlemen, we're experiencing difficulties with our music transmission capabilities at 98.5 FM. So we're going to go off the air tonight and probably part of tomorrow. And we hope to be back on the air around noontime tomorrow, and with our regularly scheduled music programming. We regret that we have to do this, but we are having a major equipment failure, and I don't see any other alternative. So tune in again to 98.5 around 12 o'clock tomorrow. That's noon tomorrow. And if you don't hear us on the air, at least I'll make an announcement and tell you what's going on and when the projected return to the air will be. So we thank you for your patience and for your understanding. It's a very small station with very limited funds. It's run by the Independence Foundation Trust, which is the charitable foundation of our children, and it's a community nonprofit radio station. Good night.